Welcome back. So this is another Q&A video. Thank you for your questions. Dive right in. This is question from Alan Knoll 2198. Dear Tomislav, once again a great demonstration of your skills. I've been curious of several things. One is, what do you use to fill the cracks? I find CA glue or carpenter's glue often leave a trace hard to get rid of. So I try to avoid filling the cracks. My process, I found also on some species like pear, like this one, if I put CA glue and it sort of drips, it's hard to get rid of with sanding that spot. On other woods not so much, but on pear in particular it wants to stain the wood. What I do is just fill in the crack with some fine dust, just lightly go over with CA glue, and then I just wipe it off immediately with shavings, and that way I don't have too much of the staining around the crack. So hope that helps. I'm behind the camera right now, so I can focus on several things, focus the camera where I want. So second part of the question is your ball gouge a 40-40 grind asymmetric? How do you grind it? And the third part would be of the question is, was it the same ball gouge that you use on the exterior, or was it a spindle gouge, asymmetric also? Thank you for videos that add other techniques to my knowledge and skills. So thank you, Alan, for your question. So ball gouges, let me just try to focus and lock the focus so hopefully it doesn't run out. So this is the ball gouge. This is a 1/2-inch diameter bar. This is what I use. This is close up, so try to what this is asymmetric grind, but this one is done on a platform instead of like on edge of the platform or in my hand that I generally do. So what I want in a gouge is nice curve here on the wing, and this one isn't so much. You can see it's slight curve for hollowing. And also because my wheel is now quite reduced in size, I remove a lot of the bevel, so almost half of it, sometimes even more, and I do that all the way around. So I'm left like with 2-3 mil of the bevel, primary bevel, which is in use. So I will do a video on this beginner series that I'm doing, sharpening on the platform, which is the most easiest way I found, and how to get grind like this. Now I did use in the beginning 40-40 grind when I started out. I would actually advise you to have like from the, let me focus it again, from the bottom of the flute to the right, so right wing of the gouge, to have it like 40 grind or 40 degrees or a little bit steeper, because that's, to my knowledge and my experience, far more superior in hollowing. And on the left side I have it a little bit longer grind, so I can shear scrape and just remove more material at once. So I find like 40 degree bevel wing here on the left wing is too small, just, and the Stuart Batty actually like proposed like it's flat on the top. I just prefer more a curved wing, which is much more superior in my at least opinion. Third part was did I use asymmetric grind or spindle gouge. Now usually for the outside I do grab a spindle gouge like this one. Now this is all ragged up. I was experimenting with something, so I just let it cool down because I a little bit overheated, so I let it cool down, and I'll for the turning I'll put a fresh edge on. But usually for bowls on the outside I grab a spindle gouge, although bowl gouge is also somewhat in the same percentage used on the outside, in my case at least. So sometimes I could grab a bowl gouge and remove much more material than with a spindle gouge. But on the inside of the bowls I use a bowl gouge only, or scrapers for the bottom. Second question is I struggled with the use of burning tool to sign a finished piece. What tip do you find work best, and how hot do you typically use? So this is something that I bought most recently. Its brand is brand Peter Mini. So this is mostly like for kids stuff, I guess. But what it does actually quite well, for me at least, I find that I don't need like a knob, you know, to set the temperature. I don't do a lot of like paintings or stuff like that. I just sign the brand name, date, type of wood, and some of the, let's say for a wedding or something like that, some note, and that's it. So I find that this like fixed temperature works great for me. Now I can tell you the temperature if I can find it. Okay, so the others that other units as well. So like brand Peter Master, brand Peter Royal, Junior, and the Mini. So like I said, mine is Mini, the smallest one. So it has a 10 watt. Let me just focus it a bit better. And what is the temperature? So it can go approximately from 450 Celsius to 650. And now what I found that this sort of loop gives me the best temperature, so the highest temperature, so like 600 Celsius, something like that. I've tried the other tips, I have it here as well, but none of them works as well. So I found that this tight curve holds the heat a little bit more, and just get a little bit more better result. But I haven't played with this too much, and like I said, I don't care about paintings. I just use this for sign my work, and it works awesome. Okay, so as I'm having here the white background, I'll answer this question as well from a Witty Workshop. Hello, I'm very new to this. I have a lathe same as yours in this video. It's older video, older lathe that I had, a DML 320 from Record Power. I have some questions. The Raffan style grind on a gouge, what does the short right wing do that the swept left wing cannot do, and why not grind both wings back? No, it's personal preference. This is a 16 mil diameter bowl gouge, bigger one, asymmetric grind. Try to focus it. it's much heavier to hold it. So this would be the swept back portion of the left wing, and much shorter one on the right. I find that shorter wings like this hug out interior of the ball much faster, because you're forcing the gouge and the wing to peel the side grain more than like on the swept back. It's not that like with the swept back grind you cannot hollow it out. You can, and it works great. But I find that if you have a shorter wing like this, or even like 40 up to 40 degrees as your Baptist suggests, it is great for hollowing. And the left wing, the longer like this, it's much better for like hugging outside of the bowl, shear scraping and stuff like that. So there is no reason why you cannot swept back the right wing. I just prefer it like this. And now I'm testing out with the platform, which I'm going to show in the beginner series sharpening, to do something similar to this. But on the platform, so it's much simpler. And so this is done on the, I showed this on the beginning as well, I'll show it now again. So this is done with the platform, also asymmetric grind, but due to swinging the handle and the tool around the platform, you inevitably get like much smoother curve, a flatter curve, sorry. So it's not much like here you can see where I usually hold the gouge in my hand and then I can manipulate the curve, and I'll have like this full curve. And here is much flatter, you can see maybe. And the right wing is also slight curve. If you hold on too much on too long for the grinding on the one wing or the other, you'll get it flat. So try to roll it, move it, and that way I get slight curve, which is to me much more desirable, and just get much better results. So grinds usually are personal stuff. Like there are some uses, like I said, for a bottom ball gouge with wings back and straight almost across, and there is a use for really long grinds like this one. For shear scraping. So just start out with one, pick any grind, and just start out, and in a few months you'll see what works for you the best. Okay, so another question is more about the lathe. One last object comment. Here is my question. Since you got the new lathe, does it bother you that it takes so long for it to stop spinning? I noticed in one of your recent videos you were tapping on the banjo with the gouge, waiting for it to stop. I ask this because I have two lathes. One has electronic braking, it stops rather quickly. The other I built myself, and it takes much longer to come to a stop. You as a production turner, you lose time waiting. I'm just curious. I know that these are differences for me, and I'm only a part-time wood turner. It seems to me that your new lathe is very good quality machine, and it definitely gets the job done. Thank you. One last object for your question. Now you did notice that correctly. My old lathe, it took quite a while to spool up but I could slow it down and stop it in matter of like 2 seconds, just with my hand on the hand wheel. This one I cannot, so I can grab here and probably will break my arm, twist it or something, because it has too much torque to be able to stop, or the motor itself. And so I'm just going to show you this, so you know what he's talking about. So this new lathe, it actually spools up quite fast, and I really like that. So this is to let's go to higher speed. So this is 1460, and I stop it. Like I said, you can't use your hand, doesn't make any difference. Now I'll start it up to that 1460 RPM, so it will get there quite fast. That's it. It's actually 1500 now. And I'll stop it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now there is another way to stop this lathe, which I actually don't like, and that is when I press the emergency here on the control box and I shut it down from the inverter. Then it stops quite fast. But it's a nuance to get down here and then turn on back on the power to the control box, and it's just not convenient stuff, at least not for me. So he noticed that correctly. Like I said, I like on this lathe the fast start, but the stopping is sometimes just a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. It's great lathe. It does have some let's say cut corners to be able to compete in price, and it is the cheapest lathe at this power range and the build quality and everything. It's cheaper than its competitors, but like I said, that cheapness is like here on the this seam. You see me in the other videos that you'll see in the video on the lathe, on the beginner series, what I did here to prevent the dust to go in, which is something that we could have done in the factory, I guess. But like I said, this is a 2 horsepower motor, and I didn't see at least any lathe in this price range to have that. Now if you pay more, then obviously you have more option and better lathe, like maybe Jet or Laguna, I don't know, Stratos. They're not much expensive, sorry, like maybe 500 euro, up to 500 euro, but their edges are a bit more polished all the way around. So I guess it's, you know, you have to get used to this stuff, but the lathe itself is powerful, it's stable enough, and I can deal with it for now, at least. The stopping time that it takes, and this some of the stuff that's done not so great. So Rich asked, Tomislav, I like your Q&A format. When you begin a turning, do you already have a design in mind based on the piece of wood? I imagine you need to make real-time design changes based on any uncovered defects like cracks, etc. Can you elaborate on the design philosophy for bowls, platters? Thank you. Thank you, Rich. So what I usually do, thank you Rich by the way, and thank you all for your support. So what I usually do is start with sort of a design in mind. So I usually, I don't know, start with is it more decorative piece, is it more functional? So if it's more functional, then I would at least leave 1/3 of the base to the diameter proportion to be more stable if it's going to be used more. Platters, you can go up to 50%, so that's sort of a design already set in, sort of. And like I said, I have a general shape that I want to do, but if along the way that shape I cannot pull off because of any cracks or anything like that, then I remove that crack, everything that I don't want, and you basically do what you can with the shape you have left. Usually it may not be the best shape or the stuff that you were looking for, but at least you can get something out of it. So, and sometimes it actually was quite useful, because like in the first not first one, the second four ways video on wide rim bowl, I wasn't sure if I'm going to leave the bead on the rim, but I just tried, and if I didn't like it, then it's easy just to remove it, and then I would have a smooth rim. So just try, and you'll see what you can get out, and if you actually like it, for that matter. So I usually start either from Google or Pinterest. I look the ceramics, potters, metal dishes as well for inspiration, and like in books from Richard Raffin as well, The Art of Turn Bowls, or the older version as well. You can find inspiration, all sort of shapes, design, and design of the rim and everything. So just start with something, and you'll see where you would end up. My design skills are far from good. That's at least how I look at it. I know there's a lot of room to improve, and that's what I'm working on. And it's constant upgrade, especially on the design. The making of it, once you master sort of these techniques and everything, it's not a problem to make stuff. It's think of something that you want to make. So hope that makes sense. So at least for me, I don't mind. I can build pretty much everything on the lathe. It's sort of a design aspect that I'm struggling, sort of. So that's one place that I want to improve much. So I'm constantly looking and practicing design, in sketchbooks or something, just for the fun of it. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for this Q&A video. As always, leave a comment, ask questions, and I'll try to answer them. And see you in the next one.